Well, we are beginning to warm up from the big freeze of 2022, not to be confused with the big Texas freeze of 2021, but it was pretty dang cold. Got down to about 10, I think. The plants look pretty good, I'll show you, but let me tell you how I protected them. What I did was bring them from way over there, which is on the other side of the chicken pen. You can see some earth boxes right there, and then there's some more right in there. But anyway, that's where I had them. And then when the freeze was coming, I was going to cover them, and I decided I don't think there's enough cover in the world to protect them from 10 degrees. Some of these plants, some of them may have done all right. So I moved them over here, put them in the front end loader, and brought them over to the barn, drug them in the barn, and along with this Satsuma orange, it would have never made it down at 10 degrees. And drug them in the barn and left them there for about 3 days. They started looking kind of poorly, especially these greens, because they weren't getting any light. So I left the light on in the barn one night, just the overhead LED lights. And the next day they actually looked pretty good, but looked a lot better. So I knew that was the reason. It wasn't lack of water. It kind of looked like they needed water, but that wasn't it, obviously. So the next day was a very cold morning, but it was not going to be that cold in the afternoon. So I just pulled the door open. I had just right inside the door. Just pulled the door open, and they got a lot of good afternoon sun. And then yesterday I drug them outside, and they're looking pretty good now. They're getting beat up right now. This wind is blowing. I hope my microphone's not messing up too bad, because this wind is brisk. Now this wind is coming from the south, so that means we're fixing to warm up. The other wind was coming from the north, and I mean it was 60-mile-an-hour winds coming from the north, and that's when we had that big cold spell hit. And man, that was tough. That wind and that cold was tough, because it was windy for about 3 days. But anyway, this is romaine lettuce, and as you can tell, it looks pretty dadgum good. We will start, we have harvested some. We will continue on that. This is broccoli, has not started to head out by any means, and it's, you know, I'm hoping it will. It's, you know, not the right season for, I'm a little late, in other words, with my broccoli. A little late with all this. But, and then this is cabbage. It is a head cabbage, so it should make a head, and they're beginning to kind of want to start ahead. Maybe that one a little bit more pronounced than the other ones. But I've got the cabbage here, and then this is the greens. I don't think these greens would have made it at all in that cold weather. So, but this is called a Mizuna, M-I-Z-U-N-A, Mizuna green. It's got a little bite to it. It's tasty, spicy. Again, not a big green eater, so it really doesn't mean a lot to me. I'd rather have a steak or a tater there. And then this one is Savannah mustard. I haven't looked yet at the carrots or the elephant garlic, so we can go over there and you and I can look at it firsthand. But I did just drag them in the barn, and it's just one of the reasons that I went with containers for a fall garden. I started late, that's one. I started late, therefore I knew I was going to get hit by some cold weather that I could have avoided had I put them in the ground sooner. But anyway, let's go look at the carrots and look at the elephant garlic, see if they made it. I do not know, but we're going to find out right now. Well, there's what's left of the carrots. Just brown, dark, burnt, dead carrot tops. I don't foresee those coming back to life. Maybe some of the seeds in them will come back to life. Some of the seeds in it that have not germinated yet might spring up. I doubt it. They've been there for, I don't know, at least a month. And if they hadn't germinated by now, they're probably not going to. But so looks like I lost all the carrots. Again, I started to cover them up. I've got a bunch of moving blankets and stuff, and I thought that might be good. And I don't know, I just didn't, because I just don't think it would have made a hill of beans difference. So let's look at the elephant garlic. I don't know much about elephant garlic. I know the ends of those leaves got burnt bad, but did it freeze down in there? I don't know. So the jury's still out on the elephant garlic. We're gonna have about a week of nice weather, 60s, 70s, and which is usually the way it happens. We get a hard cold spell come through, and then it becomes spring again or fall again. It's just the way it is almost every year. So the garlic, I'm not sure of. I just don't know if I'm gonna make any garlic. They could, if the bottoms are alive, if the clove of garlic is alive, then it should start greening up some of these stems, because it looks like the ends of them, mainly the ends of them, got burnt, and maybe down in there, closer to the ground, that didn't. I don't know, didn't get burnt too bad, or didn't freeze, or if it does freeze, whether it not it will even hurt elephant garlic. Somebody might want to tell me about that knows a little bit more about elephant garlic than I know. Will it take a hard freeze, and will it come back from that freeze? So if you know the answer to that, leave it in the comments below, and I will take it to heart and know what to expect here about these garlic. These places right here is where I had the earth boxes sitting, right there. I had a bunch of earth boxes there. That's the ones I brought over to the barn. And they're gonna make it, they're gonna do fine. I'll have to keep them watered, but they will do fine. And I'm just proud to have something growing. I hope whatever you have in the ground made it too, that you could protect it. Maybe you had it in containers and whatever, and could move it in a garage or a barn or something like that. But that's what I did to protect and to save those things: the greens, the romaine lettuce, the broccoli, the cabbage, and so hopefully we got them saved, and hopefully, I mean, there's a possibility it won't ever get that cold again this year. We just don't have that many cold spells that cold here in East Texas. So got something special, at least I think it's special, coming up in the next day or two. And so hope you'll look for it. And if you're watching this later than this week, then look up there and I'll put a link to it right there. All right, that's it. We're gone.